We always get up about 5:30, and George gets up and goes in and gets the coffee and brings it to me, and that's been our ritual since we got married. And we read the newspapers in bed and drink coffee for about an hour probably, read our briefing papers. I think there are a lot of reasons to be critical of the media in America. When we look around the world today, when we see in Afghanistan that 10 million people have registered to vote in their upcoming elections, including 40% of those people are women, that's just unbelievable. Though my plans at the moment are vague, I can assure you that I'll never run for the Senate in New York. I also want to encourage anybody who was affected by Hurricane Karina to make sure their children are in school. I think it's important that Roe v. Wade remain legal for medical reasons and other reasons. We must choose between a world of fear and a world of progress. We cannot stand by and do nothing while dangers gather. The president doesn't have the luxury of behaving like a smart aleck kid on a school playground. He has to work not just with Congress but with leaders around the world. It's really important for people who are HIV positive to reach out to let other people know that they can be tested, they can find out they can still live a life, a positive life, a happy life. I have found the most valuable thing in my wallet is my library card. As parents, the most important thing we can do is read to our children early and often. Reading is the path to success in school and life. When children learn to love books, they learn to love learning. We all, parents, educators, community leaders, and every citizen, need to come together to find new ways to engage children with the natural environment. It's not easy to have the job of president. It's not easy to run for it. And it's not a job for the faint of heart. But we talk about issues, we talk about people, we talk about personalities. George is a very good reader of people, and he's very perceptive about people, and you know, that's fine. The fight against terrorism is also a fight for the rights and dignity of women. Libraries allow children to ask questions about the world and find the answers. And the wonderful thing is that once a child learns to use a library, the doors to learning are always open. It's not easy to have the job of president. It's not easy to run for it. And it's not a job for the faint of heart. We can overcome evil with greater good. Well, we've faced very difficult decisions and challenges in our country, every one of us have, since September 11th, as we fought the war on terror, all of those decisions that the president had to make to put young men and women in harm's way. Every child in America should have access to a well-stocked school library. I mean, the part you don't like, that's the only part. That's the part no one likes, and that is the criticisms, and the unfair criticisms, I might add, of my husband. But that's also just a fact of life in politics. The power of a book lies in its power to turn a solitary act into a shared vision. As long as we have books, we are not alone. I also know that there are a lot of people around the United States who want my husband to win and who are for him and who support our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I feel good about those people, too. I don't really feel like I have to have a debate with my husband over issues. I mean, it's fun for us to talk about issues. You know, there's no one issue we spend a lot of time on probably, because he gets to do that all day with somebody else who's a lot more expert at issues than I am. I don't like that, because there are a lot of people whose works I admire as actors or actresses, or musicians. And you know, I've been a big fan of different musicians or actors. A love of books, of holding a book, turning its pages, looking at its pictures, and living its fascinating stories goes hand in hand with a love of learning. Any first lady can do whatever they want to do. In this country, people expect them to work on whatever they want or to have a career of their own. If I'm just at the White House, I have meetings in my office, I sign letters, I plan different things. Late in the afternoon, I'll quit working and wait for my husband to get home. But you know, it's not easy when your husband runs for president. I mean, it's not easy for me. I'm sure it's not easy for her. There's a lot of scrutiny on families that isn't always wanted. I'm not the one who was elected. I would never do anything to undermine my husband's point of view. You know, there are a lot of would-be governors of Texas sitting around today who never took the opportunity to get into a race when the time was right. In fact, I have the privilege of traveling around our country and meeting people all over the country who are making a huge difference in the lives of their neighbors and themselves. That's what I'm really fortunate to be able to do. But we talk about issues, we talk about people, we talk about personalities. George is a very good reader of people, and he's very perceptive about people, and you know, that's fine. They're great girls. They're very funny, they're very smart, they're fun to be with. They're very lively, as I think people can tell. And you know, they're very confident girls.